Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video with a Roche Corruption, and today I've got another episode of Shoutout Sunday for you guys. A series that I started on my channel for two main reasons. One, in order for me to give back to the amazing community of supporters that I have. Because I've said this before, and I will continue to annoy you guys with this until the end of time. I honestly think that my community is one of the best communities out there. And maybe that's me just being a little bit prideful here, but I honestly do think that you guys are one of the best group of supporters out there. And I realize that we're not as big as some of the other bigger YouTubers out there. I realize that we're a relatively small community, but I still think that you guys are amazing. And for that, you guys all have my thanks. And the second reason why I started this series is in order for me to recognize some of these smaller channels on YouTube. Because guys, I understand how difficult it is to get big on YouTube. I understand how difficult YouTube is, and as a result I figure it's the least I can do to recognize some of these smaller channels on YouTube, and that is exactly what this series is. This series ultimately is a way for some of you guys, for some of the smaller channels, to get themselves more recognition and to get themselves more well known. However, before getting into the shoutouts here, there are a couple of things that I want to discuss with you guys. And the first thing that I want to talk about is I want to reiterate the 4 characteristics that I look for in a YouTuber when considering them for a shoutout. And these 4 characteristics that I'm about to mention are pretty much the main way that I choose who goes on each week's episode of Shoutout Sunday. And these 4 characteristics are as follows. 1, you need to have a regular or at least semi-regular and consistent uploading schedule. I don't expect you guys to get up like 2 or 3 videos a day or even to upload daily. I just need you guys to have a regular uploading schedule within reason. Even once a week is okay as long as you're consistent about it. The second thing I look for is hard work. Guys, I totally understand that not everyone has access to the most expensive recording equipment out there. But if you work hard and if that shows through in your videos, then I will absolutely consider you for a shout out. The third characteristic of value, and this is definitely very important to me here, is dedication to the community. And what I mean by this is not dedication to my community or even necessarily the larger YouTube community, which I think is important as well. But what I mean here is specifically dedication to your community. You need to acknowledge your viewers and your subscribers. You need to reply to comments, and you need to be focused on the community, because ultimately for me, the community, your community, is the most important thing with your channel. The fourth and final thing that I look from you guys, and this is definitely the most important thing of the 4, is that you guys stay active on my Shoutout Sunday series and that you guys check out the channels that I give shoutouts to each week. And the reason why I have this rule is because if I didn't have it, then nobody would check out the channels that I give shoutouts to, and the series would ultimately be pointless. So I apologize guys, but I sort of have to make this a rule in order for this series to work. And just to clarify here, subscribing to the YouTubers that I give shoutouts to is never a necessity. I just require that you guys check them out, give them a chance, and of course subscriptions are appreciated, and you should subscribe to the channels if you like them, but I don't want to force anyone to subscribe to other channels. And one more thing, subscribing to me and liking my videos and watching my videos is also not a necessity, because obviously as much as I would appreciate that, ultimately I don't want to force you guys to do that kind of thing, because I just don't feel like that's right. And one more thing I want to mention here is that as much as it pains me to say this, I unfortunately cannot guarantee each and every one of you shoutouts. And the reason why is that honestly guys, this series has just been getting a lot more traffic than I expected, and I'm just totally overwhelmed with shout requests at the moment. But with that said, I do think that there are few enough participants that each of you does have a very good shot at winning one. And also, one thing I urge for you guys is I urge you guys to have patience with this series, because for those of you who are new to this series, there are some people who have been keeping up with this series for around 3 to 4 weeks right now, and unfortunately I do have to give priority to them over those of you who are new. But if you stick with the series, then 3 to 4 weeks down the road, I will be giving priority to you guys instead for these shoutouts. So I guess what I'm trying to say here guys is I apologize that I cannot give all of you shoutouts, but if you stick with the series, if you stay active, then I promise you will eventually get one. Alright, and finally, just one last thing before getting into the shoutouts. I want to shift gears here. I want to quickly shift gears, because there are sort of 2 facets to me as a person. On the one hand, I'm a YouTuber, and obviously as a YouTuber, I'm very concerned about my channel's success, and as a YouTuber, I really appreciate all the support and all the attention that my Shoutout Sunday series has been getting. And as a YouTuber, I want to see my Shoutout Sunday series succeed. But there is sort of another side to me, and that other side is I consider myself to be all of your guys' friends. And as a friend, I am very concerned about your guys' success on YouTube, and I want you guys to be successful. So for the next few minutes, this is me talking to you guys as a friend, not a YouTuber. Objectively, I really do think that this Shoutout Sunday series is a good way for you guys to grow your channels, to get some recognition, and to gain some support. And maybe this is me just being a little bit prideful here, but I like to think that I have helped some other YouTubers out there to grow their channels and to get some recognition. However, you guys have to understand that this ultimately is not the end-all be-all. And I'm not saying you guys are like this, but I just sort of felt some vibes last week that maybe a couple of you were investing a little bit too much into this series. And I know this sounds very strange, and I'm not trying to de-advertise my own series here, because like I said, I do think it's a good opportunity. And if you guys are spending like, you know, an hour to maybe an hour and a half per week staying active with the series, keeping up with it, checking out the channels that I advertise, and subscribing to the ones and watching the ones that you enjoy, then that's all good. But if you guys are spending like, you know, 7 hours on a Sunday night, you know, putting all your work into trying to get a shout, I would advise against that, because ultimately this is just another Shoutout Sunday series on YouTube, and I'm not some sort of god. Ultimately, I can help you guys to grow your channels and maybe to even jumpstart them, but I can't make your guys' channels for you. The only thing that you guys can do to make your channels and to be successful ultimately is to work hard, make good videos, and stay dedicated to your community. If you do those three, then you will ultimately succeed regardless of what happens. And while this is a good opportunity, I would advise you guys to treat it as an opportunity and nothing more. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is, guys, this is a good chance for you to grow your guys' channel, but it is not the end-all be-all. And if this is taking away from you guys making good videos, then I would advise against it, and I would advise that you put all your effort, you put most of your effort into your own channel and into making your own videos. Okay, and with that said, let's go ahead and finally get into the shoutouts here. And the first person that I want to give a shout out to on this episode of Shoutout Sunday is a YouTuber by the name of Dark Exilbirth. And the first thing that you guys need to know about Exilbirth is that this guy is just generally a super nice, super honest, and super sincere dude. If I had to describe him with one word, I would describe him as genuine. And I really feel like genuineness is a very difficult quality to come by on YouTube. And I'm not trying to call anyone out here or anything like that, but I still feel like a lot of people in this YouTube business aren't genuine. And for that reason, Exilbirth is already a YouTuber worth checking out if you ask me. With regards to specifics on his channel, he is definitely a very hard worker. He has a very consistent uploading schedule, and you can expect constant videos from him every week. The dude is definitely very determined to work hard. In that sense, he already satisfies two of the qualities that I require for a shout. He even often releases 2 videos a day, which I know from experience is incredibly hard to do. With regards to his commentary style, his commentary is a little bit low-key as opposed to my style, which people tell me is very excited. Not necessarily exciting, because I wouldn't necessarily call myself exciting, but I'm very excited when I commentate. But anyways, I digress here. This is definitely not a bad thing. The fact that his commentary is a little bit low-key is definitely not a bad thing. It's just a different style, and I definitely love that sort of style. He does a phenomenal job with his commentary, and he has a great, very clear voice with very few pauses or stutters at all. And with regards to specific content on his channel, he does a ton of Fallout 3, and you guys know how much I love Fallout 3 as a game. But my personal favorite series of his is actually not Fallout 3, it's actually his LP of a game called Dig or Die. And this game is a game that's very similar to Terraria, and I've never played a game like Terraria before, and this sort of thing is totally new to me. So checking out that series is definitely a really awesome experience for me, and I'm really enjoying that a ton. So overall, guys, Dark Exilbirth is definitely worth checking out, not only because he makes great videos, but because he's also a very sincere guy. The second person I want to give a shout out to on this episode of Shoutout Sunday is a YouTuber by the name of Rotarakiri Anonymous number 0. And first of all, the first thing I have to say is that holy crap, that is a badass sounding name. I'm sorry for fanboying over the name, but holy crap, does it sound cool. But I digress. Moving on to more important things here. The most important thing about a Rotar is that his work ethic is quite frankly unbelievable. I have honestly never seen anything like it on YouTube. The dude has an incredibly consistent uploading schedule that is basically almost daily, and he's just juggling a ton of different series on his channel, but still somehow manages to keep up with everything. And just talking to the dude in the comments, he really cares about his content, and he really wants to work hard and succeed. And there's honestly nothing more satisfying for me than seeing yourself or seeing someone else who works hard for something and then finally achieving success. This guy really does deserve to succeed as much as anyone I have mentioned in my videos. And if you ask me, his hard work, his work ethic is already reason enough to check him out. But that, guys, is not the only reason to check him out, because he makes awesome content as well. Currently, he's doing a Pokemon Volt White LP as well as a Fallout New Vegas LP, which you guys all know how much I love those games. So of course, I love those LPs on his channel for obvious reasons. But he also does some Minecraft content as well, which I'm also really enjoying because I haven't really been as much into Minecraft recently. So being able to watch him play that is definitely a nice change of pace and just really enjoyable. So I highly recommend checking out a Rotarakiri Anonymous number 0. The third person I want to give a shout out to on this episode of Shoutout Sunday is a YouTuber by the name of Black Lagoon Gaming 88. And there are just some people on YouTube who have this sort of inexplicable charisma about them that sort of can't be pinpointed, and this guy is one of those people. It's difficult to explain, but for whatever reason, I always smile and I always laugh while watching his videos, and the dude is honestly just really awesome and really fun to listen to, and he's just a great guy to get into a conversation with in general in the comments. We have talked about so many different things in the comments of his videos and my videos, and there are honestly just so many people on YouTube who have like no personality. I'm not trying to offend everyone, but there are just so many boring people on YouTube, and if you ask me, Black Lagoon is the complete opposite of that. It's also very clear that Black Lagoon genuinely enjoys making videos and doing YouTube. He's definitely not doing this for views or subs or money or anything like that. And always for me, that is one of the most important qualities in a YouTuber. You can never succeed if you don't enjoy what you're doing. And Black Lagoon is one of those people who really does enjoy playing video games and would do this regardless of the number of subscribers or viewers he has. He's definitely got the right attitude and approach to YouTube. And for me, that is the thing that matters most. With regards to the specific content he's got going on his channel, the main project he's doing is a playthrough of Bladestorm Nightmare, a game that I am honestly not all that familiar with, but I've been keeping up with that LP quite a bit, and I'm really enjoying watching it, and it has just been a complete pleasure to be introduced to a new game like that. He also does a ton, or has done, a ton of Fallout 3 content in the past, and you guys know how much I love Fallout 3 as a game. So overall, this guy just has a phenomenal channel, and I would highly recommend checking him out. The fourth person I want to give a shout out to on this episode of Shoutout Sunday is a YouTuber by the name of Rotarka. And the first thing I have to say about Rotarka is that this guy is seriously one of the most supportive people I have ever met on YouTube. He's just been leaving tons of comments and tons of support on my videos, which of course that means a lot to me on a personal level, of course, but I also feel like it embodies just how much he cares for supporting his friends and for supporting other YouTubers, because I've seen it not only with me, I've seen it with other people too. He's just generally a super supportive guy, and this, in my opinion, truly embodies his dedication to the community, which you guys know is one of the 4 characteristics that I value above all in determining who gets these shoutouts and who is just generally a great YouTuber. He's also very consistent with his uploading schedule, and you can always expect, pretty much always expect daily uploads from him, and sometimes he even uploads 2 videos a day in some cases. And getting up consistent videos is not something that's easy on YouTube, guys. It's very hard to get videos up consistently and daily, so kudos to him for that. And then finally here, he's just generally a phenomenal commentator. He's got a super clear and super entertaining voice, and that is not something that you can teach, guys. To have a good voice, to have something like that, is not something that you can acquire and is very difficult to find on YouTube. With regards to the specific content he's got on his channel, currently the main thing he's doing is a Let's Play of Pokemon Light Platinum, which for those of you who have seen my Light Platinum LP, you guys know how much I love that game, and how much I just think it's a very well-made ROM hack in general, and Rotarka is just doing a phenomenal job showing off that game right now. And he also uploads some other random content like Geometry Dash from time to time, and he's also a very big Lord of the Rings fan, and has uploaded some things related to that in the past as well, which is awesome for me, because I am also a pretty big Lord of the Rings fan as well, which I guess is kind of fitting because my name is Rohan, but that's a conversation for a different video. So Rotarka is a phenomenal YouTuber, and I highly recommend checking him out. The final person I want to give a shout out to on this episode of Shoutout Sunday is a YouTuber by the name of Mr. CJ Bubba. And the first thing I've got to say about CJ is that this guy's energy is absolutely off the charts. He is just incredibly energetic in his videos. He is loud, he is proud, and he is excited. And in many senses, he is pretty much the complete opposite of Exilbirth, who's the first YouTuber that I mentioned. But that's definitely not a bad thing. It's just a different style. And he does a phenomenal job just entertaining the viewer. If you guys are ever feeling down, if you guys are ever feeling depressed, go and watch this guy's videos, because his energy will definitely cheer you up. Another thing about CJ, and this is something that seems trivial here, but is still very important, is that he is incredibly active on YouTube. He's always leaving comments, watching videos, etc. And it's very clear that he just loves this entire YouTube business, and he just has a passion for it in general, which is very important. He is exactly the type of person you want supporting you, because he loves watching videos and leaving comments. And if you guys lend him your support, he has definitely got your back in return. As for the specific content on his channel, currently the main thing he's doing is a Pokemon Soul Silver Nuzlocke, which is definitely a very cool series. You guys know how much I love Soul Silver as a game, and just making it a Nuzlocke as well really spices things up. And one other thing I want to say about that LP is that I usually don't like face cams, but this guy has done a phenomenal job incorporating the face cam into his layout. The layout is very simple, but it's still very good at the same time, which I think is very good. It's very easy to make your layouts just too complicated, but this layout, in my opinion, is simple but very good. good. He's also doing a Mario Party 3 LP, which is a game that I'm not as familiar with, but I'm still having a ton of fun with that as well. So Mr. CJ Bama is a phenomenal YouTuber, and I highly recommend checking him out. Alright guys, well that is pretty much going to do it for this episode of Shoutout Sunday. As usual, please feel free to like, comment, rate, and subscribe to all of the YouTubers that I mentioned in this video. And just as a couple of closing words here, I want to thank you guys once again for tuning into this series and for keeping up with it, because this is a series that means a lot to me. And as you guys know, trying to make the YouTube community a better place is something that means a lot to me and is definitely a goal of mine going forward in the future. And I really feel like this series is sort of the first step towards that. So thanks once again for watching, and I will see you in the next episode of Shoutout Sunday.